Hey writer friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm doing something a little bit different today. I will be recording this live and then playing it back for you guys, showing you the best free query slash agent tracker spreadsheet. What all of that is to say is that I have been starting to create my agent slash query tracker list for Project Diamond because I will be querying that soon. And for the Celestial Code, I had a really just disorganized way of sorting out the agents and the different agencies that I was interested in querying. And I had that all in a Word document. And then I had like a separate Word document. It was just a whole mess. So when I was realizing that I needed to redo it, I was like, I think I need to be a little more organized and create a spreadsheet. So I actually did that in Google Docs, Google Spreadsheets rather. So I want to show you today what the spreadsheet looks like, and then stick around until the end to find out how you can get the spreadsheet. Okay, so we have the spreadsheet here, and I like zoomed it in majorly so that you can see it, because otherwise, like at the normal 100%, as you can see, it's kind of hard to see, but it does go out really far. I'll show you right here. So this is very comprehensive, and I have only added a couple agents, and it took me a long time, but I really think that this is going to be a better way for me to organize things, because I'm going to know, which agents I need to follow up with. I'm going to find out, why exactly I'm querying them and personalize my query to them and know that, like, hey, this could be a dream agent because everything that they're asking for is, what I have for Project Diamond, things like that. So I'm going to show you, column by column, everything that I have for you. And yeah, I'm really excited about this. So at the very top, you'll see, you'll be able to edit this yourself and customize it for your work in progress. But at the top, I have agent slash query tracker for book title, your age, category, and genre, and then your name. Kind of fun. And then right at the top, I have a couple colored columns that I'm going to use for highlighting different agents and keeping track of them. So purple, as you can see, is a dream agent, and feel free to like change the colors too. I just like did the things that I liked, and kind of differentiated things well. But dream agents, I have them in purple. And so these are the ones that like literally they check all my boxes. They work for a good agency, they're a good agent, they have experience, they have successful clients, they have a good working relationship with them. They represent all of the age categories and genres that I want to write in. They don't have any red flags, things like that. Those are the dream agents. And then I separated kind of the rest out into green is query first, blue is query later, and then yellow is maybe, because there are some people where I'm like, okay, at least from when I was creating my agent list for the Celestial Code, I was like, there are some agents that I had on my list that I was like, I don't really know, maybe there's not as much information, or they are newer. And just because an agent is newer doesn't mean that they're not good, but I don't have like a lot to go on as far as like a track record with like clients and things like that, but they may have everything good on paper. So I have that yellow as a maybe for people that I'm kind of on the fence. But the query first and query later, I have that organized because I'm not going to query just every agent on my list at once because if I need to tweak my submission package, the opening pages, my query, something, I want to know that before I send it out to everyone that I was going to send it out to. So I'm going to be sending my query in like small batches, 5 to 10 agents at a time. And so I'm going to keep track of the agents that I want to query first. And these are either people that I'm excited for querying, but aren't necessarily like my dream agent, because if there is something I need to tweak, I don't want to send my query to the dream agent first because I'm not going to have the chance to fix it and resend it to them. So just kind of a way to organize in my head. And then I did add this red box. I was trying not to use the color red, but for this, I used the color red. And that is for agents/agencies that I want to avoid. So, there are some smagents out there. I do know and have heard through inside deets, some agencies where they don't treat their literary assistants very well, or they're just not good people. And I want to have an agent and work with an agency that is going to be like this lifelong partnership, and I want to feel good about it. So I got this suggestion by Zara to look at the Glassdoor reviews. So that's another way to kind of look and see, hey, people that have worked for this agency, including literary assistants or, people that aren't quite the agents or, higher up, like the president, vice president, and things like that, what do they have to say about how they were treated? So I find that is really important, and I've never done that before. So I'm really excited to kind of add this list, and I've already got a couple of people's names on the list. Okay, and so now we're going to get to the columns. My process of using this, like I said, you can feel free to kind of tweak this to fit your needs, but this was how I found like what works for me right now. And there might be some things that I might change and tweak later on, rearranging things as far as where I have it in the columns. But for right now, this is how I have it set up, and it's working for me. So first thing is I have the agency, and what I'm doing, I think you can see my mouse here, but I'm going to have, so what I have is the agency, and then I start right here with the first agent that I'm interested in that agency. And then I'll just go down from there, and I won't re-put agency after each or before each name. But then when I want to start a new agency and that list of agents, I'll like put a little break and then list them out here, the agency and then the agents. That just kind of helps separate it out in my brain. So I'm like, okay, these are the only agents I want to work with from this agency. So then what I did was I started putting the agency name here under agency, and then I added a link. So you can insert a link. And so that's where I inserted the link to the agency. So it's kind of like the homepage, but that's just an easy way for me to stay organized. If I need to check something really quick, I can look at that. And then of course I have the agent name, and, definitely don't want any grammar mistakes, spelling the person's name wrong, using the wrong pronouns in the query. So I want to be respectful. So I also did include pronouns. I just try to be as organized as I can so that, and try to find it if it's out there, but usually their bio on the agency's website will have, the pronouns that they prefer. So I thought that that was important. And then another important thing that I thought should go first is, are they open to query right now? And, I'm creating this list right now. I still have some edits and things to do for Project Diamond, but I'm really glad that I'm starting this now because it's taking me a long time to formulate all of these notes and details about each agent. But right now I'll put if they're open or not. And then I definitely will check before I actually send them a query. And so then if I do send them a query, I am going to write the date so that I can kind of keep track of how long it's been. And then I definitely had to explain this. I was trying to say this in a nice way. So auto reply after whatever date. So some agents will get back to you, whether it's a request for a partial or full manuscript or offer of representation. And they'll also tell you if they are rejecting you and rejecting the manuscript. But some agents won't tell you if they're rejecting you. They say, consider this a rejection if you haven't heard back within 4 weeks or 8 weeks, or check back in after this date. So I tried to say it in a nice way so it's not like, you're rejected after this date if you haven't heard back by this date. So I just said auto reply after. So it just means that like they kind of auto replied, like if you didn't hear from them by this date, that means that it was a no, but I didn't want to say rejection. And then I have agent response. So I don't know what I'm going to put for like the rejections, but like maybe like an X or something. So it's not like too bad, but, or pass. Pass is a good one. But I'm going to say pass, partial, hopefully full manuscript request, and then hopefully offer representation. But that's there. Okay, and then going down the list, I have specific feedback. So this is going to be if I don't get a form rejection from the agent, or if they ask for like a partial manuscript request or a revise and resubmit, then I will have that feedback and be able to look and see like, hey, there's kind of a pattern here of them saying, I don't know, the beginning's slow, or I need more voice, or, something like that. So it's just a way for me to keep track of that and not keep having to go to my emails. And then here is where I'm putting their query manager website, because a lot of agents, not all agents, but a lot of agents are using Query Manager, where you can like upload your query letter and sample pages and things like that. And so I have the link there, but then I also, let me see, what was the other thing I did for one of the agents? Just their submissions page. So one of the agents, they actually want you to email them. That's where I'll just put the submissions page, just saying, to email them. The website is if they have a personal website, or just a link to their bio page on the agency's website. And that's for me to reference and kind of look at too. So as far as agency guidelines, whether I can query more than one agent at that agency, like there's some agencies where if you query one agent, they'll pass it on to all of them, or you can choose to say that you just want to query the agency in general and whoever's interested. So just having some specific agency guidelines, that will help me keep track of that. And then query guidelines is pretty self-explanatory. It is what is their query submission guidelines. So right now I have like one of the agents wants the query letter and the first 10 pages. This was in their query manager, and I haven't seen this yet. And it's been like, 2 years since I've queried. One of the agents had also said it was optional that you can say like a theme song or a playlist your manuscript would be kind of based off of, like what type of aesthetic your manuscript would have, and then also a 1-sentence pitch. So I thought that was really fun, and I did write that in there in case I wanted to add those optional things. And then obviously they can also ask for a synopsis. All right, moving down the line. Okay, now I have about the agent and their likes. So this is like kind of bleeding into their MSWL, which is their manuscript wish list. But as far as the agent, like, are they biracial? Do they have pets like I do? Do they have some interests that I am interested in that I can kind of relate to them on? Then also things that they like as far as their, what they're looking for in manuscripts. So like one of the things I have there, particularly looking for inclusive and diverse stories. I found that that's important too, because that's something that if my manuscript is similar or has that, then I want to be able to personalize that for their query letter so that they know that I like read their bio and that I'm like actually querying them and not just sending it out to everyone that exists. And then as far as the MSWL, I am also writing things down and linking if they have an actual manuscript wish list link, or sometimes they have the link kind of as a page on their website, then I'll also link that. So I'm just adding those things so that I could be like, hey, my manuscript has all of that. Pick me, pick me. So that's the fun part. Now, there are some downsides. So I say some downsides where I am trying to pick agents that have everything that I'm looking for, but it also can be hard. So I know there are some story ideas I have where, and it could be a middle grade where there's talking animals, but that agent like specifically had like a does not want or does not want represent list, and included talking animals, science fiction, portal stories. So, I kind of write down those downsides because I'm like, I have some ideas with talking animals. I have portal story ideas, The Celestial Code is technically a light sci-fi and a portal story. So it's, it's like, if that's something that I would want her to represent me on, I couldn't do that. I would have to find another agent to represent me for that manuscript. So, it's like everything else checks the boxes, but there might be some things that are a little bit off. Or, you could say, what they don't represent, just kind of things to note as like, okay, this is not something that they're interested in. And then I have a couple more links. So their Twitter, I find that that's important because that's where a lot of people share news of representation, of book deals. And then if they have a publisher's marketplace link, I will link that too, because then that shows all of their recent book deals and their authors that they represent, and also see like, hey, have they been successful? They represent young adult and middle grade. Have they sold a lot of young adult? Is it all middle grade? Just kind of really taking note of everything and really making sure that they're a good fit. And so then here, kind of tying into that, I have what they represent. So do they represent picture books, YA, middle grade, new adult, and then their experience? If they do say how many years they've been an agent, I will put that down. There's always pluses and minuses to having a lot of experience, because if you have a huge list as a newer author, I would just want to make sure that I feel supported. Yeah, if I have concerns and things like that. But, if they don't have a lot of experience, they're just building this list, they're really excited, you guys can kind of both start your journeys together. So, there's some fun things to that. So I just feel like it's good to just kind of note. So I just know in the back of my mind, it's obviously not a deal breaker at all, because some of my favorite books that came out in the past 2 years were by like new agents, and they were literally like one of their first book deals. So I'm like, yes, please, I am here for it. And then these last two, I use querytracker.net. It's, I think, $25 a year for the premium, I think, or a membership or something. They will tell you their query response time, and you can check either by the past 30 days, 90 days, 120 days, and then like 6 months. So then what I'm doing is I'm writing down, so like this one agent, it took them 2 days to respond to someone with like a request for either more materials, partial, a full, or whatever, but it was a positive response. And then it took them 85 days to give someone a rejection, to give someone a no. So I'm keeping track of both. And the other agent I had researched, their query response time was 1 day for a yes and 63 days for a no. So I like keeping track of that, because I'm like, hey, this person usually responds within 2 days if it's a yes. It's been 3 weeks for me. So more leaning on the side of no. So just kind of sets up expectations for me. And then the other thing of setting up expectations is the reply rate. So that's another thing that I love using querytracker.net for. I actually do have a video about querytracker.net where I show you how I research and look up agents and what I actually look for. So I kind of go through this a little bit. So I'll link that down below and up in the cards if you're interested, because I think I did another thing like this where I used StreamYard and recorded it and kind of walked you through it, which was fun. But so for the reply rate, how often do the agents reply? Out of how many manuscripts that they receive, how many do they reply back on, whether it's a positive or a negative? And so this one agent, her reply rate was 68.7%. So that's pretty good. I know that like I'm probably not going to get ghosted by this agent. And the other agent who is, and this is a newer agent who's been around for about 1.5 years. And there's another agent who's been around for 13 years, very experienced, very successful, and her reply rate is 2%. So it's like, yeah, prob's not going to hear back from her. And then I looked at where I looked like, hey, when do I have to reply back to this agent? Where I put in the column the auto reply after. They said, we only respond if we're interested in seeing your work, which then makes sense why her reply rate is 2%, because she's not replying if it's a no. She's only replying if she wants to see more pages. So yeah, so I've got like a lot of columns here, but I think it's very, very important because I'm not just going to query anyone, and I want to make sure they're a good fit for me for the entirety of my career, because I want this to be something that's sustainable and that I have a long-lasting relationship with this person, and it's mutual. So that is the agent query tracker. I really hope that this was helpful for you all. I am excited to fill this up with agents that I want to query, hopefully in June/July. Let me know in the comments down below if you're querying, if you want to query in the future. Please download this link anyway. So that's how you can get this this free spreadsheet, is if you are a newsletter subscriber. So you guys, I have so many newsletter freebies, and I haven't sent a newsletter in a while. So really, these are just like website freebies. If you sign up for my newsletter, which I have not sent in like almost a year, but you will get a whole bunch of freebies: how to write more, how to read more, a whole bunch of novel editing checklists. Super helpful. But the other thing that I am adding is this query tracker spreadsheet. If you are already a subscriber, then you will have access to this. Just go to one of my past newsletters and look up the password, because I don't think I've changed it since I started my newsletter. But please, if you can't find it, please send me a comment or an email and I will get that for you. But if you have not subscribed, you can subscribe down below at HollyDavisBooks.com, and get updates on my books when I do send them out, and hopefully when I get a book deal and an agent. That would be wonderful. So that's how you can get it. Let me know if you have any questions, and I hope you enjoy. See you next time. Bye.